Today is tomato processing day. I have three cartons of tomatoes here, and I am going to process them for food storage. So I've got my crate of tomatoes up here, and I've got all of them. They have some bad places and things like that. Some of them have been rotten. Some of them just, need a little extra TLC, but I'm just coring them. And what I've recently learned is that if I have a lot of tomatoes, which I do, and it's too much to prepare to can, etc., that I can core them and freeze them. See, that one's pretty bad. I can core them and freeze them, and then when I'm ready to can or to use them, cook them down, I can take them out of the freezer, put them in the sink, let them thaw, and then the freezing and thawing process acts as blanching, and the skins just come right off. So I won't have to blanch these before I can them or cook them down for supper or something like that. And I thought that that was really cool. I didn't know that that was even possible. Obviously, the tomato will never be fresh again once it's frozen, but it's definitely still usable and a way to preserve them until you can preserve them finally in canning or however, etc. I'm just cutting the bad stuff out. Some of them need severe cutting, but they are still salvageable, and they're still beautiful. Got some funky tomatoes that it looks like these are the ones where a couple of tomato blossoms grew together and created one tomato, and that's why the flower end is like this. Just want to get all of that. The brown out. So that's what I'm doing for all of these crates. May try to let that ripen a little bit more. I don't know if it will. And that is what will be occupying my time this morning. Just trying to get all of these done so that they don't continue to go bad. The bottom one is actually leaking on my floor, so I knew I had to get these done. Now this one is pretty much mushy. Just gotta throw it away. This is an FYI, when you've cored a tomato, some people go ahead and score them so that it's easier when they thaw out for the skin to release and pull them off. I don't do that with a lot of my tomatoes. I'm going to experiment with that. I've done it with some and not with some. I'm going to see if this really is necessary for me. Sometimes I have enough at the bottom to where I'm cutting out anyway, not to need this cross, but that's a tip that I've also heard. So I have bagged these in a single layer, put the date on there, and I am going to go and stick these in their freezer. I like to keep them in single layers just so that they freeze better. Alright, you can see I've been freezing tomatoes. Now these up here should be frozen. So I'm going to pull them down. So those will freeze. And now I've got to run to the store and get more freezer bags because I have run out and I have a ton more tomatoes to do. I did squash. I did zucchini. I actually put down some roasted tomatoes and cooked them down. Let's see. And I've got shredded zucchini for such things as zucchini bread. I've got shredded squash. So my freezer is coming along.